Greetings, everyone. Hello again. My name is Jacob. I hope you all are doing well. Quarantine, everything. We're still not done with it yet. Kind of sad, but it's whatever. It's all good. I'm doing the monologue again. I did one of these before. I ate the cereal, if any of you guys remember that. For those of you who watch these, how's it going? I made the best one. I'm just gonna go and throw that out there. Like, my monologue is up here, right here. Everyone else, Max is actually kind of like here too, but the other one's not as good as mine and Max's. Toddley's a different breed though. Let's just be real. Max is just a man. Anyways, enough of that. I'm here to just entertain you guys once again. I don't know how entertaining I am. Hopefully I'm pretty entertaining as a person. But yeah, like last time, there's nothing to talk about. Truly nothing to talk about. So how's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing really well, actually. Hopefully nobody's sick or got the coronavirus or anything. Oh, speaking of, I'm gonna talk about how I got the coronavirus, and I truly believe this. So, flashback to March 13th. Okay, let's go to the month here. Gotta pull this up. Okay, so March 13th was a Friday, all right? That was the Friday before my spring break, which was the 14th, or the 16th through the 21st, all right? So that was my spring break, all right? 3 days before that, March 11th, which was a Wednesday, I think it was the last youth group we had, okay? Fun fact, I wasn't there because I was sick, all right? And I was sick Wednesday and Thursday, and I just didn't think much of it because, all I had was a high fever, so I just didn't go to school, whatever. Then Friday, all right, I go to the doctor, okay? And let me tell you something. I didn't have a single coughing symptom or any symptom of bronchitis Wednesday or Thursday, all right? So I didn't think I had that, all right? I thought I had the flu, or I thought in the back of my mind I have coronavirus because that was the new thing at the time, all right? And then Friday comes around and I get tested, and apparently I have bronchitis, but I didn't even cough or nothing like that. So kind of scary. Or not really kind of scary, but I have bronchitis. So they put me on these meds, all right? And I get better, obviously, but I truly believe that I had no symptoms of bronchitis. I didn't have any congestion in my lungs or anything. I wasn't wheezing or coughing up mucus or anything, which is kind of gross. All I had was body aches and super high fever. But I got classified as bronchitis, or I didn't have strep throat either. I forgot to throw that in there. I didn't have strep throat either. So there's my little story on how personally I believe I got coronavirus. I still live by that. I was one of the first people in America. Actually, not one of the first people in America, but actually, no, one of the first people in America to get it. But yeah, I just feel like I was one of those people. And so yeah, it was back in March, and we didn't have a cure for it, or it was this low key thing, and I didn't believe they couldn't just test me with some random thing. They just gave me some random test saying, "Oh, you have bronchitis." No, I don't. That Asian doctor knew nothing. She was just like a Chinese spy, coming after me. She brought the disease over herself. That's what I believe. Speaking of traveling, how about this? We're leaving for camp in, 1, 2, 3, 4. We leave for camp in 32 days. That's very exciting. No, that's way wrong. I lied. Please forgive me on that. Not 32 days, 42 days, all right? Whatever. Camp's coming up, all right? And for those of you who are on, on the fence between going and not going, I highly recommend going. We have such a good time. We really do. It's such a fun, it's best week of your life. Best week of my life every year. I look forward to camp every year. It's so much fun. Not only do we dominate in football and sports like that, but you get your Jesus on, and that's just the most important thing. And last year we had Vince speak, and that was the first time I saw Vince speak. A couple people have seen Vince talk before, previous years, but yeah, whatever. Vince is a great guy. He's best speaker we've had, no doubt, and he got moved to our date, June 29th through July 3rd. So yeah, if you want to go, literally it doesn't matter. You have to come. It's best week of your life. We have a grand old time in the hotel. The bus ride, shaky. Because if you don't sit next to the right person, shaky. But hotel, elite. The cabin, unless we stay with some bums like last year, those kids were rough. But yeah, no, it's great. Grand old time. I vote you come to camp. Now I'm going to give it over to Rusty. I'll see you guys June 10th, because Rusty made the announcement on Instagram that we'll be returning in person June 10th. So hopefully this is the last one I have to do. I get to do the first and the last monologue because, I'm just different. But yeah, I'll see you guys.
Hey, greetings, RiverTown. This is a little bit of an update on what's going on with camp. We have changed venues. The camp date is still remaining the same. It's going to be June 28th through July 3rd, but we're changing our venue to Bethany, Louisiana. It's northwestern Louisiana, about a quarter mile away from Texas. And I would say it's about 40 miles away from Arkansas. So it's a little bit different area, a little bit different camp, but the dates are remaining the same. And the speaker this year is going to be Vince Smith, someone who we truly like as a youth group and have enjoyed in the past. What I need from you is verification from your parentals that it is perfectly okay for you to travel to Louisiana to go to this camp and all that good stuff. Understand we are in the virus era, so we have to be careful about all those things. But if I could get an email from your parents say that you're good to go, you are good to go. Much love for you. Here are a few more details.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for this week's top 10, we got the top 10 craziest haircuts. So enjoy that.
Number 10. Number 9. Number 8. Number 7. Number 6. Number 5. Number 4. Number 3. Number 2. Grand prize winner is
Hey, greetings, guys. Welcome to week number 6 of our series, The Unexpected. Several times when I start to speak about, especially Acts 1 through 10, what we're going to see is when the disciples get done living their life with Jesus firsthand, and Jesus is going to die on the cross, raise up from the dead, and eventually ascend into heaven, they're getting an opportunity firsthand to see what the power of the Holy Spirit can do in their lives. It is a completely unexpected thing when you don't have and you can't see the presence of God without having faith in the very one who's going to give it to you. It's like me breathing. I know that air is there. I know that it is, but I can't fully recognize that air is not there until I do not have it anymore. It's like trying to breathe on the water. You know where the air is. You know where salvation lies. You know where your strength is going to be. But at the same time, you look at it and you say, I can stay here a little bit longer. I can stay here a little bit longer until, of course, you do with Ananias and Sapphira did. And they decided to go ahead and croak out for specific reasons, which we're going to talk about a little bit today. Ladies and gentlemen, I posed a question yesterday. Are you living out God's dream for your life? And I said I was going to highlight some seniors, and I am. And I'm going to highlight their talents, their gifts, their passions. But I also want to challenge them, and hopefully you can get something out of this as well, that when God releases you, when God unleashes you to something greater than what you think that you can accomplish, you can do God-sized things. People say that dreaming sometimes can get you in trouble, dreaming for something bigger than maybe what you think that you can accomplish. I think it allows you to think beyond that box that you put yourself in. God doesn't fit in the box, you do. When people say, and they say it all the time, that you're putting God in a box, listen, you're not putting God in a box. You're walling yourself off to potential. And I love the opportunity that Peter and John had after they were released from prison, and they got to account for every deed that they have accomplished up until this point. And they made that account in a way that was promoting the one who gave it to them in the first place, which is the whole purpose of having this thing in our lives. Are you living out God's dream for you? Point number one today in week number 6 of our series, Unexpected, is what is God's potential in your life? I have a confession to make a little bit. There is certain things that I felt like in my life that I was good at, and certain things that I felt like in my life that I was not good at. I believe wholeheartedly that I was a good servant. I was a good worker. I was a person who God can use physically to promote his kingdom. And when I was in my 20s, I worked for a camp ministry called Clear, and some of the greatest times and greatest summers of my life, but I was used in a way that got stuff done, got work done, allowed people to have fun and recreation, and then leadership as well. I was put into a position where not only could I use my gift of servanthood, but also I could promote that same gift into others and organizational ability and all that good stuff that comes along with, being a developmental leader. And then fast forward to 2010 in my life, where God moved me away from that ministry because I moved to Florida. And then 4 or 5 years later, God given me an opportunity to promote himself through youth ministry and so on. It was something different in my life. Peter and John, when they were arrested, they were told when they were released by the religious elite, Sadducees, Pharisees, and people who were in charge of the church, that you are to not preach Jesus Christ in this town ever again. That was one of the things that they told them not to do for them to be released. We're not going to keep you in jail because the people, in seeing, of course, the miracle of the lame man being healed, would revolt against the religious elites. And, of course, thousands of people got saved because of this message as well. So they didn't want to offend the people because they would have an uprising. But they told them, if you continue to do this, you will be put in jail again. In Acts 5, what we're going to see is Peter and John continue to preach the gospel because they were told to do so. They were told by God to go to a particular place to have a particular message, and in that place and in that message, I am going to allow myself to be glorified, and you are going to be used as a vessel to do so. Let me highlight a few seniors today. And I wrote some things down so I wouldn't forget it, and I'm sure I'm going to forget some things, so it is what it is. Noah Adams. Noah, you have been here since the very beginning. I saw a picture of you the other day of our youth group, as small as it was back then. You were an absolute small fry, always competing against people that are bigger than you, faster than you, more athletic than you, and you always holding your own. It's so unique for a person, and I'm going to use this as an analogy, but for a person to be picked last in kickball, to always have the game-winning kick, and that always seems what you have received or what you have given, and people always have underestimated your ability to contribute. I don't believe ever again. I have a small little idea for you. God's plan is going to be different for you, Noah Adams. I've seen your family work. I've seen your mom in ministry, your dad in ministry, your brother in ministry. But what I have seen so far, and I believe that I am a student of student behavior, but what I have seen so far, your path is going to be different. It's not that you're going to have less influence. In fact, I believe you're going to have more influence in the path that God is going to choose for you. When Peter and John were in prison, and the first thing that God did after in prison, it gives them a little bit of scenario, and then it says that God released them, an angel released them, cut the lock that night. And immediately they go to God and they ask, what do you need from me next? I believe that is you. It's not that you have been released from prison. It's that you've been given an opportunity that no one else has been given. Okay, and in that opportunity, there is glory to be had in Jesus Christ, not for your sake, but for his sake. And you have been given that. Search for that specific plan that God has given you. Brandon, I've seen you grow from a small little tyke as well into what God has made you in current. RiverTown Church would not exist online and virtually like we're doing right now in our Wednesday night and Sunday morning without you. You have single-handedly, with some help, like 10% help, you have single-handedly promoted the gospel through all the research, through all the learning, through all of these things that you do for our church. So I am more proud of you than I have ever been of a youth person in my life. Question for you, and this is your motivation, if you will. This particular avenue which God has you in, which is servanthood, is just a stepping stone to where I believe God wants you to be. Servanthood right now is where you can best serve the church. However, I can guarantee you, if you allow yourself to grow like God has, I believe, put you in a position to grow, that you're going to do some great things, my friend. Some great things. And it's just a stepping stone to where you need to go. Peter and John went to jail for the second time. And they continue to ask God, what do you want from me? It's just a stepping stone to something greater in mind and greater influence. Xander, don't be satisfied with half the influence. Here's what's going to happen to you, Xander. You, my friend, are one of the smartest people that I have met as a young man I've ever met in my life. You have been given a place in a lot of people's lives and hearts that puts you on a pedestal when your opinion is stated. Don't stop giving your opinions. I know you want to have it all in a box, all in line, all in this I don't know. I'm not an English person, but in it all in line, all your ducks in a row. Here's what I'm going to tell you, Xander. Sometimes when God asks you to speak, and God asks you and puts you in a spot to speak and give an opinion, don't wait. Don't wait. Yes, you need to be theologically sound. Yes, you need to be sound in your opinion. But at sometimes we find ourselves holding ourselves back because we are not sure what the outcome is going to be. Sometimes, Xander, we're not going to be sure what the outcome is going to be. But the place that God has given you, the influence that God has given you in your current situation, you can be a force for the kingdom if you allow yourself to be a force for the kingdom. That is a challenge for you guys. I love each and every one of you seniors. I highlighted Noah, Brandon, and Xander. I got a few more in just a moment, but to bring it all into perspective. Acts 5, when Peter and John are going through this trial in their life and their transition in their life from being a follower of Christ, which they get to see Christ every day, to promoting Christ in their own realm, in their own venue, in their own way that God has called them to do so, they have went through trials, and they will go through trials. They will go through pains. Are you allowing God to be the centerpiece of your focus and your next step of your life? Point number 2 today is more of a question. And the 3 seniors that I'm going to highlight is going to be Bella, Kendall, and Cole. And I see myself in a variation of all 3 of these young men and women. What do I have to give? When Peter and John were arrested, they were put in jail, then the angel of the Lord, God, released them from prison. It says in verse 22, when the officers came to get Peter and John from prison, they realized that they were not there anymore. And they went back to the council who requested them from jail, and they asked, where are these people? And then sure enough, some people stood up and say, well, I've seen these 2, and they're preaching in the synagogue. It says the captain of the officers went and brought them, but not by force, but once again, but they were afraid of being stoned by the people. You, my friends, Bella, I'm going to start with you. You are a person of influence. You give clarity and focus where there seems to be sometimes no clarity and focus. You have a maturity beyond your age, and I believe you have a unique insight into that. You don't see things through the realm of fun all the time. You don't see things through realm of fear all the time. You don't see things through an avenue in which other students your age see them. And that is a great realm of influence. You have vision, but you also have reality at the same time. At the very beginning of the year, I wanted you to be part of my leadership team. And in the process of going through all of that, you declined my offer. And I believe wholeheartedly that you would have been a great part of my team for the very reasons that I just discussed. But even though you were not, I want you to understand the time in which you had with me in this youth group and the passion that you brought has changed the dynamic of who we are. Don't ever think that you don't have anything to offer because of the situations that you're in, because you do. Because God has specifically given you those things and to promote himself through it. Don't ever forget that you have a purpose, that you have a vision, that you have a dream. And once again, God has given that to you. Kendall, I spoke to you on a small little video clip that Providence gave us an opportunity to do. And I believe that you, hands down, are probably one of the most passionate people that I know. And you don't show it all the time. You limit your ability to show that only when it's necessary. And some of your friends would probably disagree with that. But I see it in the realm of you know when to say yes and you know when to say no. But you also know when to promote the greatest gift, I believe, at this moment that God has given you. And that is your influence. You are an influencer of people, Kendall. I believe where God is currently going to put you, in the athletic field that God is going to allow you to promote himself in, that this is an opportunity for you to get out from underneath, if you will, if I'm using Acts 5 as an example, underneath Jesus's finger, and to allow yourself to use the very gifts that God has shown you and given you to promote him. And by the way, not many people get an opportunity to do that at the college level, and you have been given that opportunity. Love you, girl, and continue to promote Christ through everything that you have been given. Cole, I also spoke to you on a small little video clip as well at Providence, but Cole, there is something that I have not been able to kind of put my hand down on, my finger down on, that makes you who you are and the greatness of where I believe God is putting you. I'm going to figure it out. It's going to be a goal of mine, but at the same time, Cole, the potential, and potential is a dangerous word. The potential that you have to gather people to Christ, to allow your gifts and talents to be used in a realm they normally would not be used in. It is essential that you use those things. When God gave me, and this is just an example, when God gave me this avenue of youth group to promote him, one of my fears was I was not significant. I was not educated. I was not given this realm of influence in this environment. And one of the visions that Dan had was to see me in the same avenue in which I was used in Bomb Squad, which was my coaching, which allowed his son to play and all that good stuff. But in that vision, Dan saw that Rusty Robertson can be an influencer of people in this avenue. Therefore, if God has anointed him, he can be an influencer in this realm. That's what he saw. I believe, Cole, you have the exact same type of influence that I had. It may not be in the current avenue in which you're in. I'll be very clear with you. I think and I believe wholeheartedly that God will continue to give you other opportunities. And you're going to look at it with skepticism. But I want to ask you, Cole, Is God giving you that opportunity for a reason? What do I believe that God has given each one of you? It is a realm of influence that no one else can understand until, by the way, you see 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people come to Christ because of it. Love each and every one of you seniors, and I will continue in just a moment. Point number 3 today is this. God did not create you to be average or normal or anything else that we could possibly say to go with the stream, to go with the flow. Nick Tilley gave me this shirt. It's called the Flounder Pounder. It's a fishing tournament that obviously fishing tournament, catch fish, get promotions, get money, all that good stuff. But it's also to promote autism. Almost all of you know that my 7-year-old son is autistic. And I want you to understand this man who started this could have just had a fishing tournament. But instead, he used the avenue in which God had for him to promote something that is greater than just fishing in itself. And this in itself is exactly what Peter and John is doing. After they were recalled from the jail, they were obviously released from jail by God. But then the Sadducees and Pharisees called them to them, and they came willingly to promote Christ in a very hostile environment. And they were outraged. The Sadducees and Pharisees were outraged that they were continuing to preach the gospel. And then they repeated the same line, Peter and John did, I cannot help but preach the very thing that you are accusing me of, because it is greater than you. It is greater than me. You got to understand who Jesus is. He is a savior of the world. And then why in the world do we want to hold that down for any reason? Why are we going to try to make the greatest message of all times into an average message? It's just part of the Bible. It's not just part of the Bible. It is the whole point of the Bible. I realize this, and I say this all the time. John 3:16 is a great verse. It is not the only verse in the Bible, though. Not the only verse. It is not the only point of the Bible. It is the main point that why we are still sinners, God himself, Jesus himself, came down to save us from our sins. That is an amazing line, is an amazing reason, all of the above. But when God can take normal, average, everyday people like fishermen and tax collectors, like a shepherd in the field, like a prostitute who's going to a well at a particular part of the day, and use them to promote himself, you can't get any better than that. Cannot get any better than that. And Peter and John are saying this thing. You have given us an opportunity, and you don't even know it, to promote Christ. And they were outraged about it. Verse 33, when they heard this, they were enraged and wanted to kill them. But a Pharisee and the council named, and I can't pronounce his name. His name starts with a G. I'm going to call him Gam just for a second. A teacher of the law, held in honor of all the people, stood up and gave orders to put this man outside for just a little while. What's going to happen is this man, Gam, is going to talk to all the council people and say, this was foretold. This was foretold. If you kill these people, if you quell this uprising where Jesus Christ is glorified, you are going to lose everything. And you got to understand what the main point of all of this is power, is control. God is not in the business of giving men, women, or other in power and control. He's not interested. He is interested in using the gifts and talents and positions that God has put you in to promote himself. And when that's the sole main focus, it will fail every single time. It will fail every time. Olivia Punick. I also had the opportunity to speak to you via a small little video that Prov gave me the opportunity to do. But I can tell you this, you are one of the most connected people in the senior class, because you can go from person to person, from table to table, and speak to people like they're normal people. You don't have to put yourself in a position to promote anything or anyone. That is a gift, true gift that God has given you. And you need to use that more and more. People say all the time that whenever you're given the ability to go from I don't know, from top to bottom, if you will, from the popularity scale all the way up to the top where you can hang out with the big wigs, and then the people who are considered high school wise. When you get into college, this doesn't exist, where the people, the low level, the unpopular crowd, when you have the ability to go between those, there's something about that that is giving. There's something about that is personality. And you have all of those traits. You are a giver. Your personality is second to none. You know why? Because I know you. I truly know you. I know what you want to do, but then when God gives you the opportunity to do something else, you do that. Why? Because you're passionate about people. You're passionate about others. You're passionate about younger people specifically, but where I believe God wants to grow you is with your peers. It's not about what they want. It's about what you can give them by the power of Jesus Christ and a clarity that you can give them. I want to ask you to do that and continue to do that at the next level. Gorgie, my boy, you have a story that your life story up until this point that I believe needs to be shared. You are a man of influence, and you will continue to be a man of influence. And by the way, you did not even choose this. It was chosen for you. And God has placed you in a position to share your story and how God, how Jesus, how other families have risen up to protect you and hold you to a point where you can be an influence for the kingdom. You need to tell that story. I need to hear that story. Other people need to hear that story. And you've been given it. I want to encourage you to continue to do that. Madison, although I don't know you very well, I do believe this. And I wrote this down, and I don't know how this is going to go over to you, but you are not second to anyone. You will never be second to anyone. Your influence and what you have the opportunity to give to others is second to no one. Once again, I don't know how that's going to go over for you. You, Madison, are not average in any way, shape, and form. May God continue to give you the insight that you need to promote Him, not as the second wave, but as the first wave of influence in people's lives. As Peter and John are wrapping up Acts number 5, and the Sadducees and Pharisees and the religious elites are trying to figure out what to do with them, and they released them. They released them again. It says, we can't hold these people because they have such great influence with the people around them, and God has used them in such mighty ways that they cannot deny the word and the promotion of Christ. They cannot deny it. Seniors, youth, people are going up into high school. I want to encourage you with this, that if you continue to walk in Christ and do the things that God has called you to do, people cannot deny Christ in you, which is the whole point of living where we are today. I love each and every one of you.
Hey guys, so as you can see, I had to escape to my place of privacy here. But we're going to go Luke chapter 7, verses 46 to 49 real quick, where Jesus compares a man who not only hears his words, but acts on them, to a man building a house, who dug deep and laid the foundation on the rock. When the flood came, the river crashed against the house and couldn't shake it, because it was well built. But the one who hears and does not act is like a man who built the house on the ground without a foundation. The river crashed against it, and immediately it collapsed. And the destruction of that house was great. So guys, are we building our house on something that's eternal? Or are we building our house for something that's temporary in this world? Love you guys and enjoy worship.
Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. Live for you, holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. Live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one you could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. Live for you, only for you. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around build my life upon your is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you, Lord, and I will not be shaken. I will build my life upon your promise. Is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you, Lord, and I will not be shaken. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me.
Baba.